I'm here with Professor Emeritus Stephen Adams from Western University, the author of Patriot Poets, American Odes, Progress Poems, and the State of the Union, published in 2018 by McGill Queen's University Press, available electronically on Canada Commons. Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
Did you write this using a Mac or a PC?
A PC, absolutely.
That's good to hear. This book deals with the concept of American exceptionalism, which is that concept that America is unique and unlike any other nation. And you wrote about poet Philippe Freneau's take on this concept. Now, I'm a big fan of reception studies. So can you set the stage for us on the impact made by his poem, The Rising Glory of America, as the kids say, when it dropped?
Actually, I can only sketch and speculate. The poem is peculiar because it was first published, one might say orally, because it was written by Freneau and his friend Henry Brackenridge and recited as the graduate poem at the graduation of at Princeton,
Interesting.
where they were both students before the American Revolution broke out. Freneau then took his section of that composite poem out and published it as his own poem in his first collection of works. I can only speculate, and it continued to be a poem in his collections until he died. All I can say is that he was a well-recognized poet, and that the poem was obviously something he was very proud of. He tinkered at it for the rest of his life, and it must have had some readership.
Chapter 7 is entitled Questioning America. What part of that chapter sticks with you and is worth repeating, perhaps as a cautionary tale for what America is going through right now?
Well, the first half of my book, the first 6 chapters in any case, deal with poets who are writing about the ideal of America, the idea of America. And this lends itself to a patriotic kind of drum beating about America as the exceptional nation. And when I was teaching this material as a course, I had complaints. All of this stuff about American patriotism, it's tiresome, it's annoying. But what happens in chapter 7 with William Vaughn Moody's once very popular Ode in Time of Hesitation was that this ideal began to be questioned, that the poems in the second half of the book tend to realize that America is not living up to the ideals of the founding fathers or this idea of the city on the hill. It isn't really exceptional. Now, Moody himself was writing this in the wake of the Spanish-American War. And he takes, and this was in effect, although it's pretty much forgotten now, skipped over in histories and so on, it was the first American colonialist war and the first American incursion into Asia. After the Spanish-American War, the Americans discovered that they had the Philippines on their hands, and they didn't know what to do with them. But there was an anti-colonialist faction in the Philippines fighting against the colonists. And when the Spanish disappeared, there were the Americans stepping in. And the American nation fought a war against the Philippines in the first years of the 20th century. Who remembers that? But it was the beginning of the century plus American military presence in Asia. And Moody, a very patriotic poet, realized that this was overstepping the bounds. And he questioned. Now, his questioning is very tentative. It's an ode in time of hesitation. He wonders, is this right or not?
It's like a sobering reality in many ways.
But the sober reality is there, and the thousands of Philippine bodies are behind it, behind the poem. He also wrote a short lyric on the home cup, bringing home the body of a fallen American soldier from the Philippines. So if that doesn't bring it more or less up to date, well, it should.
The book is called The Patriot Poets, American Odes, Progress Poems, and the State of the Union, available electronically on Canada Commons. Stephen, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.